Oh my gosh, you guys, the microphone was off the whole time. Okay, deep breath. All right, we're gonna start this over. If you're watching the replay, then um, I'll put a note in the description. Anyway, hello, I'm Sarah Nolan. Welcome to Vibrant Life. This is the official podcast for the Vibrant Life community, and I take my members of this group and of the inner circle from stressed and depressed to abundant energy and joy on demand, using a process that removes the emotional triggers that prevent us from being our most present, empathic, and thriving selves. We do this by going past the surface clutter of emotions and tapping into our core where joy and boundless energy await. I'm super excited to be here with you this evening talking about the art of fulfilling relationships. Now, if your relationships are really important to you, if that's like one of the most important things to you, it's one of your highest values, then this is definitely the place to be right now. Whether you feel like you are thriving in your relationships or you are just barely surviving, just barely hanging on, I promise you that you will experience some kind of transformation with your relationships as we go through this journey this week. So, this is something that I help my clients with in my program, Recharge. And what I'm giving you this week is like a little taste of the kind of thing that we do. So, if you would like to go deeper within your relationships and really within, getting every other area of your life back up to that thriving place that you have in your business and in your career, and you want to bring your life like beyond that and you want to thrive in your other areas as well, then just let me know and we can explore some opportunities there. So, this week we're talking about the art of fulfilling relationships. And tonight we're talking about identifying what really makes a relationship thrive. And I've got some three keys that I'm going to give you that if you have these three things, you cannot go wrong in your relationships. It's not going to be perfect, as nothing is, but you will thrive in all your relationships if you have these three things. Tomorrow we'll talk about creating fulfilling relationships for within yourself, a fulfilling relationship with yourself. Then we'll talk about increasing your self-worth so that you're not so triggered in your relationships. Number 4, we'll be talking about developing a mindset of trust, which is essential for thriving, healthy relationships. And number 5 is we're talking about setting boundaries within yourself and your relationships so that everybody is thriving together. Does that sound good? All right, so tonight we're talking about what makes a relationship fulfilling. And these are 3 areas where if you have these 3 things, then you are golden. And we're going to dive deep into one of them today. So, connection, consistency, and variety. If you have connection, consistency, and variety, then you can make any relationship work if you want to. Of course, that's if it's healthy and that you are safe in that relationship. So the most important aspect to this is connection. And connection is really the building block of all of life, and especially relationships. And, in the exact definition of relationship is the word connection. It's a connection between, 2 people. And I always like to go directly to the source of everything that I do. And guess what? You are the source. You are the source in all situations. That's why so much of the work that I do is from within, or really all the work that I do comes from within. And it's because you are the source, I am the source. We are all the sources of our own situations. Even with relationships, even more so with relationships, we are the source. We are the starting point. So it's really all about starting with connection with yourself, connection with yourself, what you know as yourself, and then connection with your higher self. And connection with your higher self is all about listening to those subtleties and listening to that inner guidance. That inner guidance is going to guide you to the right words, the right people, the right timing, the right situations. And the biggest block that I see to people's connection with themselves is past experiences that cause them to shut down in some way. So a past experience might be, when you were a kid, having overreaction from your parents or from a adult figure in your life, like a teacher or a mentor. Those overreactions that we experience, like we're not emotionally equipped to experience them, and it causes something inside of us to shut down. Have you ever experienced that? Do you know what I mean by that? That's one of the biggest things. And an overly stressful home environment or school environment. I mean, think about it. When you were growing up, you spent most of your time at school. So we really need to address the school environment when we address, how we grew up. And I'm not about dwelling on the past at all, but we need to address the past because the first 6 years of life is when we write the script of our lives. The first 6 years of our life is when we are actively writing the script of our lives. And that script comes from experiences. It comes from, we come in with initial genetic programming. We come in with some DNA, and our parents also have that. But then the moment we become aware, we start writing our story, and that story guides the rest of our lives. So with everything, we always want to start with, what is that story and where did that story come from? And the way that we connect with ourselves is a direct result of that story. Okay, so changing the story. So many people talk about changing the story as like consciously think up a new story, but it's not that simple, because that story was written before you had any words to describe it. That story originated with feelings, and it had originated at a time when most of your experience was stored away into your subconscious. So most of your story is living within your subconscious. So it does help to consciously write a new story or update your story, upgrade that. But we need to go deeper. We need to go back into the inner layers where that story originated in the first place. All right, so this is the first step, you guys. I know it sounds a little bit, maybe it sounds a little bit complicated or challenging. Like, how would you even do that? But we're going to go into some more detail around that process this week. And if you are really interested in getting into this, then, let me know, because we have a few ways that you can do that and really explore that in a variety of ways. So thank you so much for joining me this evening, and thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties that we had in the beginning. I'm going to be switching this over now to the private Zoom chat. So let me just grab that link. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. See, Daniela, I couldn't see any of those comments. I guess okay. I will figure this out, you guys, I promise. By tomorrow, we'll have it down. All right. So everybody who's in my inner circle, click on that link and join me now. And we can talk about, more about this process of changing your story, getting into those inner layers so that you can transform that programming that has so much to do with your connection. And let's just continue the conversation. So I'm going to close this video now and head on into that Zoom meeting. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. We will talk again tomorrow about creating fulfilling relationships with yourself.